Climate change is an issue that is happening all around the globe and affects all of us as human beings. No matter who you are or where you are, we are all affected by climate change and its effects. However, to understand its effects, we must first know what climate change is. Climate change can have many effects, from the average Earth's temperature rising, extreme weather floods, extended droughts, ecological damage, more dangerous wildfires, and rising sea levels. These effects are all results of climate change, but are caused by our over-reliance on industries that produce copious amounts of CO2, non-renewable energy, and agriculture. You may be thinking now, who is to blame for all of this? And while you may have a company or an individual in your head, the answer isn't who you think, as it's not one select corporation or person, and more so, a collection of a variety of different entities. First, there is the state entities who, back in the 90s, were participating in the idea of a race to the bottom, where the lowest common denominator is bid upon by governments to attract corporations to their areas. As a result, this was used to create environments with lax environmental safety and labor restrictions. However, this idea has come and gone, and these days there is a more push and acceptance of policies to protect our environment and stand against climate change. This is not to say there has not been damage that was done though, as there were most definitely many ethical and legal standards that were looked past in decades prior that we will be feeling the consequences of in the years to come. What also doesn't help is the clearing of land via deforestation in large forests like the Amazon. In doing so, the carbon sequestration capacity is reduced and greenhouse gases are increased, which can lead to very bad supply issues in the future, with there being too much carbon dioxide and not enough oxygen in the atmosphere. The reason this is being allowed in the modern day is because the United States did it in decades ago, which is used as the justification by other countries. However, this should not be solely blamed on just governments, as the corporations have a major part in causing this as well, as they are the ones governments are trying to entice in the first place. Many either only care superficially to get what they want, or don't at all, and break laws and regulations whenever they please. This lack of having ethical standards is a main cause of pollution and the worsening of the world's climate. These practices can be extremely harmful to the local communities and environment, especially if the corporation is moving in an environmentally harmful practice there due to regulations being enforced where they originally were operated, which raises a lot of ethical questions. With the advancement of science and technology, ethics have become a bigger and bigger part of the conversation. It has also become controlled more and more by elite and wealthy figures in our society, which may or may not care about climate change at their own discretion. However, to entirely discredit the value of the decisions made by those in power and whether or not they are for the benefit of society against climate change is misguided. For instance, the Industrial Revolution is a big topic of contention in this regard. While it did allow us to have many of the amenities we have today with electronics, cars, and factories, the Industrial Revolution can also be pinpointed as the inflection point for when carbon dioxide emissions really took off and became a big issue for climate change. As such, we as a society have advanced rapidly in the decades since, with new revolutionary technologies coming every few years, which has led us to increase our population, but also worsen climate change. With a rapidly increasing population nearing 8 billion people soon, overcrowding and overpopulation are real concerns that impact more than just us as people. Having more people on Earth can strain supply chains and make resources fewer and farther between. This can lead to more waste and greenhouse gas emissions, which affects everyone on the planet. While many of these are environmental effects, climate change can have other effects that we might not see at first glance, such as economic and social. For example, an increase in natural disasters can have major consequences long-term, as it can drastically reduce a country's GDP per capita. As mentioned previously, climate change can cause irreparable ecological damage, from coral reefs being destroyed, sea levels rising, and the average surface temperature increasing rapidly, the mass extinction of many species of plants and animals, among others. There are numerous negative impacts on the environment caused by climate change. Along with this, climate change has a significant impact on people. Natural disasters caused by climate change can result in people losing their homes and ways of life as entire cities get swept away. As it currently stands, Climate change is responsible for a significant increase in Lyme disease, ticks, and West Nile viruses due to the rising worldwide temperatures. Along with this, climate change has become of bigger significance as a causation of inequality as a result of increasing temperatures, rising sea levels, and the race to the bottom, with corporate contracts and governments giving poor working conditions for workers. While the future might seem bleak and that we're already done for, not all hope is lost. There are many ways for you to make a difference in helping stop climate change from becoming worse. From using renewable energy, reducing the amount of water you use but don't drink, composting food you don't eat, turning off any unnecessary devices when not in use, recycling, and many more things. Climate change is something that we can all help prevent from getting worse, and it starts with you.